Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brother T, Freemason cigar enthusiast with VCR tapes rolling on another cigar review video for you folks today. We're smoking the El Gueguense 5-year Anniversario. It certainly seems to be one of the more difficult cigar names to pronounce in this space. It's Gueguense, and it rolls right off the tongue, at least for me. I'm certainly intrigued by it. It is a limited edition offering, last year's iteration for 2020. It was hotly anticipated release from Nick Melillo there at Foundation. Came only in box purchases, and there were only 500 boxes created. If you have not seen the box, it's almost akin to a jewelry box. Very high attention to detail. It's more art than function, and it is fantastic. Initial impressions that we have here, it is a amazing Vitola. It is a flying pig Vitola. Now granted, not a one-for-one because it doesn't have maybe that signature pigtail cap, but it certainly is by and large the same thing. Has some heft in the hand. It's walnut brown in color, more of a natural finish, and by that I mean it's not really matte and it doesn't have an oily sheen. It's el natural. It is smooth to the touch, and by that we mean it's toothless. It has visible veins, invisible seams, what appears to almost be a triple cap on a Perfecto like this, so that's not something you run into all that often. Pre-light aroma. It's by and large a little bit of leather and some barnyard there, so we'll cut and light. Initial impressions? Certainly like a milkshake through a straw. It's probably more like a concrete mixer. Certainly a tight draw, probably due and owing really to that pointed foot. So I'm expecting that draw will open up or loosen a little bit as we continue to draw down on the cigar. Smoke, certainly not even moderately dense. Flavor notes that we're getting so far, slight leather. A woodish note, not quite a cedar. There's a black pepper, certainly no heat to it yet. We'll see how it develops. All right, everybody. Getting to about that 1 inch in mark. At any rate, it's kind of where the gauge starts to even out from that pointed foot. The notes that we had at initial light were very much an earthy leather, a little bit of black pepper. What we're having now is primarily a little bit of wood edging on cedar, some cream components. There's some nutty components as well. We're gonna let some traffic pass here. There you go, construction in residential areas. Gotta love it, gotta love it. There's a lemon component there at the finish that doesn't have the citric sharpness that you would equate with a lemon, but very much is a lemon. If you look for it, you'll certainly find it. It's there. It has a lot of variations or a lot of dynamic flavors so far. There were elements of coffee and cocoa, though not so much right now, but certainly in between our first update and this one. Very engaging cigar so far. We have had to relight it a little bit, so probably a little bit of a knock on construction. That's okay, we'll see how it continues down. All right, everybody. Getting to that point where we can undress this guy, remove the band. Burn so far, a little wavy. It does kind of itch at me to correct because I am a perfectionist, I think, in some respect. Does it take away from the smoking experience? No. Is it canoeing? By my guesstimation, our standard, it isn't. Is it wavy? Yeah, it is. Certainly wavy. All right, we're gonna take the band off here. And we got 2 of these little tidbits, and we'll talk about these little guys. There's 1. And number 2. There we go, look at that band. We can talk about these bands a little bit. Oh my goodness. It is maybe more form than function, though adequate in function. It certainly excels or exceeds expectation in form. It is gorgeous. The color palette, it's sophisticated. The portraitures, sophisticated. Print quality, upon very close inspection, there's no pixelization at all. It's embossed elements throughout, albeit kind of a lighter embossing, not a lot of contrast, but certainly there upon hand inspection. And it's on adequate paper stock. I just cannot speak enough about this. It's artwork, it's fantastic. It does well to really position the cigar. Hats off to Nick Melillo on the time and effort that he spends in really delivering some outrageous, if not exciting band artwork. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it's certainly appreciated by the cigar community. In terms of blend, we'll walk through the blend right now. It uses a Corojo wrapper, Nicaraguan grown, a Mexican San Andreas binder, and the filler is Nicaragua as well, from Esteli and Jalapa. So if those names resonate with you, they should. Tobacco there, it's highly sought after. A lot of folks use it in many of their differing blends. It's fantastic. In terms of tasting notes, there's a wood that moves a little bit to a cedar. Certainly an earth that touches a little bit on a barnyard. There's some nutty components at time, bits of coffee, some cream, but that lemon is still there. Again, it doesn't have kind of that citrus pucker factor, but it very much is a lemon. So I'm excited for it. You don't really see that note that often, and it's been pretty consistent, at least in this sample so far. So it's standing out in my mind now as the lemon stick. We'll see, however, how it comes together. We still have quite a bit of real estate to smoke through, so at the very least, we'll be coming back to do the cigar wrap-up and some updates on tasting notes. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. Getting down to the last little bit, hashtag Nub Club. There is a little bit of wrapper leaf that's starting to flake or crack, so that certainly detracts from quote-unquote the construction. So running into the cigar wrap-up, by way of construction, certainly meets expectations. It was a little wavy and there was some cracks there, so I guess there'd be some detriments to point out to the cigar. It doesn't take away from the tasting notes, but maybe from the smoking experience, especially for some of those folks out there that are very particular. Burn, again, it was wavy. So if you're a perfectionist, you will be finding yourself touching it up a little bit. I myself corrected it a couple times. Draw, it started off very firm draw, like a concrete mixer through a straw, I think is the analogy that we used at the opening here. And it very much held on that way until we got past that foot tip into the body of the cigar. Now the draws opened up pretty well. Smoke. It's moderately dense. Mouthfeel, it's neutral. It's not drying to the mouth at all. In terms of body strength, both a medium plus at this point in time. Tasting notes, there's a wood to a hickory. Right now there's a potato chip element that's pretty present. Slight cocoa, a little bit of cream. And there is almost this undressed or naked cooked pasta element or tasting note there, which is pretty intriguing and I find, hands down, delightful. My name is Brother T, Freemason, cigar enthusiast with VCR. Today we smoked the El Gueguense 5-year Anniversario by Foundation. Hats off to Nick Melillo. Met that gentleman. Great guy. Great guy. As always, smoke 'em if you got 'em.